Hello everyone, my name is Liliana and today I'm here with my colleagues Hannah, Brianna, and Aki, and we're going to be talking about the importance of calcium intake in older adults. Before we continue with our presentation, I do want to touch base on what calcium is, what are some of the calcium sources that you can find in your diet. We also are going to touch base on what happens when there's not enough calcium intake throughout our days, and how much calcium we should be consuming through our days. So first of all, calcium is a nutrient of special concern for older adults due to the poor intake, and also increases risk of poor absorption and increases the risk of bone density loss. As with age, as we all know, there are changes in our physiology, and some of the changes are heart contractions, which is related to changes in calcium metabolism. So what is calcium? This is probably one of the main questions that you're asking yourselves. Calcium is a mineral that is associated with supporting bone health. It is definitely necessary to regulate our muscle contractions, nerve functions, heart rhythm, and blood clot prevention. The body stores about 99% of the calcium in bones and 1% in muscles, tissues, and blood. So what are some of the health benefits of calcium? Calcium helps us to maintain strong bones. It supports healthy functioning of the heart, nerves, and muscles. Vitamin D also supports calcium absorption, and therefore a combination of vitamin D and calcium has benefits beyond bone health. It also provides a protective barrier against hypertension, diabetes, and cancer. So who is at risk of calcium deficiency? People who are malnourished, people who have low levels of vitamin D, people above the age of 50 years old, women who are going through menopause, certain medications, osteoporosis or osteopenia. For those of you who do not know what osteoporosis is a condition of reduced bone mass and increased bone fragility. And also people who are vegan or lactose intolerant individuals.
So, what are some symptoms of calcium deficiency? Hypocalcemia, which is just low levels of calcium in your blood. Confusion or memory loss, muscle spasms, numbness and tingling in the hands and feet, muscle cramps, weak and brittle nails, easily fractured bones. Experiencing one or two symptoms might not mean that you have calcium deficiency, but if you experience more than that, it's probably a good idea to check in with your doctor. So what are some factors that influence calcium absorption in older adults? Overall nutrition status, vitamin D status, calcium status, gut pH, presence of other foods in the intestine, dietary fiber, dietary fat, and dietary protein that you get from certain foods. Also oxalic acid, phytic acid, which you can also get from certain foods. Renal function, which is simply kidney function. Some medication use, that means some medications can also interfere with your calcium status. Typical calcium intake among older adults. Males aged 51 to 70 years old should consume 1000 milligrams of calcium per day. Males aged 71 years or older should consume 1200 milligrams per day. Females aged 51 years or older should consume at least 1200 milligrams of calcium per day.
So how can you increase your calcium intake? These are the following foods that are high in calcium. Dairy, like milk, cheese, yogurt. Leafy greens, like spinach, kale, collard, and bok choy, along with tofu, white beans, soy milk, oranges, edamame, almonds, and broccoli. There are supplements on the market to help treat and prevent calcium deficiency. So what is a supplementation? Calcium deficiency is treated by adding more calcium into the diet by a food or supplement. To obtain optimal outcomes, it's suggested that doses are given in supplements of 500 milligrams. Different types of supplements are calcium carbonate, which is the most popular and is least expensive and is most easily absorbed in people. However, it requires an acidic environment to be absorbed. It contains 40% of calcium and requires less tablets to be taken throughout the day compared to other calcium supplements. Calcium citrate is another supplement that should be used by people with achlordia, IBF, and absorption issues. Calcium citrate contains 21% calcium and can be taken with or without food. Some other calcium supplements are calcium glycinate and calcium lactate.
So after hearing all this information, you're probably wondering, how can I apply this to my everyday life? So we're going to give you some examples. So we've made up this table for you where you can see to the left we've listed your meals and the food products that you would have at each meal. This is an example. You can see in the center, you can see that there's serving sizes, and all the way to the right we have your high calcium substitutes. So for example, for orange juice, you can actually get a calcium fortified orange juice, which would be a great substitute. For oatmeal, you can actually get ready to eat fortified cereals that are fortified in calcium. And for the milk, where there's just a half cup there, you could actually increase it to 1 cup. For the noon meal, where there's a vegetable soup, a good addition of a high calcium source would be a great northern bean. On a turkey with whole grain bread, you could add some Swiss cheese to increase the calcium. And again, you can increase your milk from half a cup to 1 cup. On this slide here, you can see the final meal, the evening meal. And instead of broccoli, you could try 1 cup of collard greens for an even higher calcium substitute. Instead of a chocolate mousse, you could try a low-fat yogurt. A really good way to make this a dessert would be to add some chocolate protein powder to be similar to chocolate mousse. And again, you can increase your milk from half a cup to 1 cup. Finally, you can see here our references, which you are free to refer to for further information. Thank you so much for listening today. Please like and subscribe for more videos.